We're going to work on some exercises to strengthen and stretch out the fingers in your hand. First, we're going to start with a warm-up with the ball. We're going to start just making simple circles, just trying to get every finger involved, and rotating in one direction, and then rotating in the other direction. Just keep it nice and easy. It's a bit of a warm-up for the hand, getting some movement before we start to work on stretching and strengthening the fingers. You also want to flip the hand over as well. So you do it with palm up, and then you also do it with your palm down. Again, one direction, trying to get all of your fingers involved, and then flip it around, rotate it in the other direction. Once you've done maybe a minute on each side with palm up and palm down, we're then going to make your circles a bit more complex. So you're going to be a bit more disorganized with it. You're going to go hand moving up between up and down, fingers bending and straightening to play with the ball. Try and circle it around in your palm. Just have a really good fiddle. And again, palm up, palm down. From there, we're going to work on being a bit more organized with the bending and straightening of the fingers. You're going to try and encourage it to straighten and encourage it to bend. There'll be one side that will be easier to do this, as in like palm up or palm down will be easier for you, but I'll challenge you to do the one that's more difficult as well. So go for about 15 or 20 bend and straightens. Then we're going to put this aside, and we're going to move on to stretching our fingers. You'll need a pen for this, or a pencil, or a long thin thing. I'm going to work on first getting a bit more bend or a bit more flexion into the fingers. So you're going to hook this deep into the corner between your little finger and the third one, and the second and the little finger and the fourth one, and the second and the third one. So really kind of cram it in there. Going to go for a big bend, then relax. Bend, then relax. Bend, then relax. You're going to go about 15 to 20 of these in a row. If you can see I'm doing a lot of this with my wrist extended, I'd also want you to practice with your wrist a bit more straight. Our next movement from here will be about helping to stretch and strengthen your finger into being straight. So you're going to move your pen a bit higher up. If you're working on the little finger or the second finger, you want it on the end phalanx or the end bone of that finger. You're going to go from being fairly relaxed to pushing it with these fingers into being a bit more straight. So first we're going to hold that there in a stretch for whatever finger it is for about maybe 10-15 seconds. And then I'm going to relax and take it into active contractions. So with this, I want you to be specifically trying to use the muscles in these fingers to straighten, not just that it's being pushed into a straighter position by the other fingers. I'm going to build a bit of strength back in that finger at the end of the range that it's got into extension. So this setup works well if it's this finger or this finger that we're trying to straighten. If it's one of the others, just hook it underneath there. Same thing. And then lastly, you're going to put your pen aside and we're going to do a little bit of work strengthening the muscles in between the fingers that help to do this motion, abduction and adduction. You've got some little muscles that live beside your long bone in your hand that help to spread it out and bring it back together. It's really important that you've got good movement through these directions because it helps you grasp, it helps you manipulate objects. It's a pretty important movement to have. So I want you to think if we're strengthening this little finger here, it's got two possibilities. It can go that way or it can go this way. We're going to use our other hand to give it some resistance. So if we're working on strengthening the muscle that brings that finger that way, we're going to apply our resistance on the other side. It's an isometric contraction, meaning it's contracting against some resistance but not moving. Just give it enough pressure that it's kind of on the edge of what it is capable of withholding or resisting. You're going to hold that for about 30 seconds. If 30 seconds is a bit long for you, try and break it down into 10-second holds. So maybe 3 10-second holds. working hard to resist it from being pushed inwards, you're pushing outwards against that resistance. You're going to sequentially go through and do all of your fingers. Some of them will need more resistance than others. If you find that one finger can't give enough resistance, use a few. And then once you've worked through all of those fingers, resisting them pushing that way, we're going to go and resist on the other direction. So now we're resisting this finger coming this way. So holding it in place. Don't let it push outwards. Trying to push inwards with your pinky finger. And then again, moving along all of the fingers one by one.